the Maidenhead radio show with Mollie and Isha. This is the 12 o'clock news at Maidenhead radio show on the 15th of May with your hosts Mollie and
Isha.
Prison sentences for men involved in a violent robbery and assault in Desborough Park. A gang of Maidenhead muggers have been sentenced for their involvement in a violent robbery and assault of a man in Desborough Park. Two men, Danny Little and Michael Keeley, and two other boys aged 16 and 17 were sentenced at Reading Crown Court. The man was treated in hospital for arm injuries, cuts and grazes. Little and Keeley are both serving 4 years in prison. Maidenhead man stuck in Nepal where his family home has been destroyed after earthquake. Ashcott Gaywell, who is an office manager to on-time taxis in Maidenhead, was visiting his family near Kathmandu when the earthquake struck. More than 5,000 are believed to have died. However, Ashcott is okay and unharmed from the earthquake. His friends and family are happy that he has contacted them. Collision in Maidenhead town centre after cars turn into opposing traffic on dual carriageway. Part of the Brayrick Road in Maidenhead was blocked for about an hour and a half following a road collision between a blue Volkswagen Polo and a black Vauxhall Astra. However, everything has been cleared up and the road has been reopened and traffic seems to be moving swiftly. The first topic we will speak about is legalising cannabis. This has been a big debate going on for years throughout the different political parties. It has proven that legalising cannabis has a job creation potential, which means many unemployment will stop in the UK, which means people claiming for benefits will lower. This has been proven in Colorado, which legalised cannabis at the beginning of 2014. 10,000 now work in the cannabis industry, growing, harvesting crops, and making and selling equipment. It has also proved that crime has fallen. After 3 months of legalisation, the city experienced 14.6% drop in crime, specifically violent crime. Moving on to political issues, legalisation and regulations of cannabis can benefit the economy, lift the burden of criminal justice system, and help recreational and medical cannabis users enjoy a clean, safe product. Political parties have also stated that cannabis itself is not the problem, it's the current law. The laws of cannabis vary from country to country. Possession of the cannabis is legal in most countries. However, the possession of the drug in small quantities has been decriminalised. In many countries, they are trying to stop people who have large quantities to stop dealing. Marijuana has also proven to be used to medical problems such as cancer, depression, eating disorder and arthritis. However, taking marijuana in medical purposes has side effects like most medicines. These side effects include drowsiness, short-term memory loss, and more serious side effects including anxiety and paranoia. Only people who have a card from a doctor should use medical marijuana. Doctors will not prescribe marijuana to anyone under 18. Other people who should not use it are people with heart disease, pregnant women, and people with a history of psychosis. In the studio, we have Joey Bartlett. I am going to interview him on his opinion about legalising cannabis. Hello, Joey, and welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
That's splendid. So, Joey, you used to smoke cannabis for 3 years. You first started smoking cannabis every now and then, and it soon became a regular habit of every day. You smoked it for fun, as it was easier to get than alcohol. However, you said before the interview that there was also personal reasons. However, I will not ask unless you feel comfortable talking about it. Do you think you were addicted?
What, now or before?
Before.
Nah. Well, sort of a habit's a habit. It's similar to an addiction. You mentally kind of get into the process of relying on it, and it might help you out with something, or you enjoy it. So I wouldn't call it an addiction, I'd call it a habit. Okay.
Do you think it made you change in any way? Do you think it affected you long term, as it has proven that it reduces resistance to common colds, growth disorders, study difficulties, so reduced ability to learn and retain information?
Yeah, I don't think I experienced any of that. I think I got pretty much the opposite. I mean, my brain function really went down, sort of, my memory just got really bad, and yeah, I've had quite a lot of colds while I was smoking cannabis, so, yeah.
Did you experience any short-term effects when you did cannabis, such as depression, panic, anxiety, or poor conditions of movement?
Nah, I mean, when I first started, I kind of had a little bit of paranoia, I guess, but I think that's common in most cannabis users when they first start out.
Do you think they should legalise cannabis for medical reasons, or do you think people will end up relying on cannabis and stop taking actual medicine?
Although I don't smoke it anymore, I prefer people to be smoking it because it obviously does have its benefits. rather than taking these kind of chemicals which are made in labs. Whereas cannabis it can be a free grown plant, and it's a plant. So I mean, it has medical properties. So yeah, I just think it'd be for some people they'd sort of prefer it because it's cleaner and.
They've been trying to legalise cannabis in the UK through political parties and 420, a popular cannabis culture to legalise the consumption of cannabis, where it's originated from California. Do you think this day has helped the case of legalising cannabis?
No. I mean, before, it was kind of, it was an event where people would get together and they'd have, like all these things going on, like fly breathers and stuff. But now they've it's turned into a thing where you get like people as young as 14 going along thinking it's called smoke weed. So not anymore. I don't think it's helping. But in the past few years, I believe that it might have helped, to see all these people gathered together, protesting against its illegal state.
Okay, thank you. As the government have been debating for many years about legalising cannabis, do you believe the cannabis will affect the government in any way? Do you think jobs will be made or lost?
I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. I mean, all I can say is it'd be very much taxed, so it would be very expensive.
Okay, overall, do you think they should legalise cannabis in the UK and why?
Yes, I do, and my honest opinion is it would shut a lot of people up.
Okay, thank you for your time, Joe. It was lovely to meet you.
So up next we have a story about e-cigarettes and traditional cigarettes. So a recent observation has shown that more young people have switched to using e-cigarettes as opposed to traditional cigarettes. Vaporizers have been becoming increasingly popular, and people have decided to make the switch after being made aware of the risks and health issues with smoking traditional cigarettes. A recent study has concluded that e-cigarettes and vaporizers are now much more popular as opposed to normal cigarettes, despite them not knowing the long-term effects of e-cigarettes. Here in the studio as well, we have Logan Wingate, a former traditional smoker who has switched from smoking traditional cigarettes to using an e-cigarette. Was it all right for you getting here?
Yeah, definitely. When I switched, I had the same amount of nicotine in my e-cigarette as I did in the amount of traditional cigarettes I smoked, so I wasn't feeling like I was missing anything.
Yeah. So you originally smoked traditional cigarettes from around the age of 13, correct?
Yeah.
And about a couple of months ago, like 3 million others, you've recently switched to using a vaporizer. What made you make the switch?
Well, when I made the switch, I was getting a really bad smoker's cough. It was really phlegmy, pretty disgusting, really. I just felt really gross, and I'm a gymnast, as most people know.
Yeah.
I can't be smoking and focusing on gymnastics at the same time. Those two things don't go together.
So around Henley College, about 45% of smokers have now switched to using e-cigarettes and vaporizers. So did you know anyone else that made the same switch as you?
Yeah, I know a few people actually. It's becoming quite popular.
And do you think it's helped them as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Also, researchers still haven't discovered the long-term health issues of using vaporizers, despite doctors encouraging smokers to switch. Do you think the benefits of e-cigarettes outweigh the risks?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really had any difficulty with it. The only difficulty you can have is when you get too much nicotine in your e-liquids.
Is that because it's more addictive than normal cigarettes?
Yeah, because you face the problem where you can smoke it indoors in most places, so it doesn't really leave your hand. You've always got it with you, you're always chuffing on it, more so than a cigarette.
Okay, so as a lot of people know, and you're probably aware of, traditional cigarettes have been linked to many types of cancers and other issues. Is this one of the reasons you decided to ditch the traditionals?
Definitely.
That's good to hear. And over 80% of those who switched to vaporizers have felt physically better. So how has making this change benefited your health?
When I am training, I can train a lot harder and for a lot longer. It's definitely helped out my health.
That's good. And like previously mentioned, people still don't agree with making the change. Is this because of their ignorance, in which they don't actually know the long-term effects, or are they just lazy people?
I don't know if it's so much ignorance or laziness. I just say they're sort of sceptical about whether it's good for you or not.
Yeah.
No one knows really what's worse at the moment.
So have you had anyone actually disagree with you making the change?
I wouldn't say disagree. Some people they like to take a puff of my vape and then find that it's a bit harsh for their throat, and then they say, "Oh, I can't really do that."
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Okay, so I've also heard that some buildings and restaurants like Wetherspoons don't allow users to use them indoors, despite the fact that you aren't actually burning chemicals, you're merely inhaling vapour.
Yeah, I'm a victim of that. I got banned from all Wetherspoons for using mine. So,
So what would you say to users who haven't made the switch then?
definitely give it a go. I mean, you can pick one up for like a tenner.
Yeah.
So it's not really, you're not losing out on much.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the show. For the weather today, it's currently 16 degrees and it will be sunny until the rest of the day.
Thank you for listening. Tune in tomorrow for another round of stories. The Maidenhead Radio Show with Mollie and Isha.